Brilliance Audio.
La Vie According to Rose by Lauren Parvizi, performed by Shiva Nagar. A flight to Paris from SFO at the end of July cost $1,300. High this year. I wrote down the number in my worn moleskin notebook. Recording fares felt like writing in code, a diary with nothing but numbers and dates spelling out my secret hope. The notebook had become sacred, a place to go when work and family and memories of Dad were both too much and too little, proof that escape was a plane ride away. In the beginning, I tracked fares to all sorts of major cities: Istanbul, Dublin, Prague, Stockholm, Barcelona. But eventually I chose Paris. If I could have one trip, that's where I would go. The city of light. What a cliche, right? Sad, single, unsatisfied woman goes to Paris and finds joy, passion, herself. But the cliche was kind of the point. Who didn't want a happy ending? I tucked my moleskin back into the wicker bookcase where I'd kept it since college and abandoned the cocoon of my living room for the kitchen. The rich scent of sautéed onions and garlic filled the space. The smell always made me think of Dad standing at the stove wearing his Persian rice baby apron we'd gifted him for Christmas one year. Mom still had it hanging in our kitchen, the fabric stained with yellow splotches of saffron and tomato spatters faded pink. I pulled off my own apron and peeked in the oven. I was ready, or as ready as I could be. Another Sister Mom Sunday brunch was underway, the time of week when we all came together, no matter what. Iris called it brunch and bitch. Lily called it brunch for bitches. Either name made Mom cringe. Do you need to throw around the B word like that? Can you imagine what your father would say if he heard the way you all talk these days? Mom constantly conjured Dad's memory, reminding us how to live in his image. Except, what else could we do but imagine? He'd been gone our entire adult lives. Pancreatic cancer out of nowhere. As fast as it was fierce. And somehow, 12 years had passed. Which was how long it felt like I'd been trying and failing to get out of brunch. I leaned against the counter and inhaled deeply, as if I could breathe him back to life or at least savor my final moments of peace before my thoughts were smothered by the arrival of the other Zadeh women. At the sound of the doorbell, I clicked on the coffee pot and hurried to greet them before they started banging down the door. Mom entered, like a blonde dervish, her polka dot skirt whirling as she examined my apartment. She pointed to a recessed bulb in the kitchen. "You haven't fixed the light? It's like a cave in here." "I need a ladder. I'm waiting to hear from the landlord." "For the record, this is why I keep saying you should move in with me. No landlords, and you'd have your dear old mother for company." She pulled me in for a squeeze and a big peck on my cheek, and for a half second I let myself be held by her soft, comforting form. "Us single ladies have to stick together," she said, and I pushed away from her, my blood beginning to simmer. I hid my defensiveness with an indifferent shrug and fussed with a platter of fruit, tucking mint leaves beneath a mound of nuts and feta cheese. I'm not lonely. I liked living by myself, at least most of the time. This was the first place that had ever been mine alone, and I loved my old brocade chair, my overfilled bookshelves, my potted ficus I called Fifi, my print of Renoir's Bal de Moulin de la Galette in a $2 flea market frame. And if sometimes there wasn't enough air in the room, in all the apartment even, and I had to race from my chair to the window, press my mouth against the screen to gulp the bare evening breeze, that wasn't because I was lonely. In the middle of a sprawling suburbia like San Jose, even an oasis could be suffocating. A minute later, Iris trailed Mom inside, lugging 2 cumbersome boxes and an armful of bulging canvas totes. She slipped off a pair of bright white sneakers and her shiny raisin brown hair bounced against her fitted cardigan buttoned to the neck despite the heat.